So candidates in the New York mayoral race faced off for one final time before the election. And socialist mamdani is insisting his plan to raise minimum wage would be good for businesses. Watch.
And the reason that we put forward $30 by 2030 is that that's the minimum that a New Yorker needs to be paid to be able to afford to live in this city. Our proposal that we've put forward would be phased in over a longer period of time for small business owners to ensure that they could deal with this. And it's also one that we are confident we would be able to accomplish.
Let's bring in the executive vice president of the Trump Organization, Donald Trump Jr. Don, good to see you. It's one thing to say you're attracting new voters by giving them free stuff, giving them more money. But to say the businesses are going to like it, I mean, that's so much of a stretch, right?
It's absolutely ridiculous. You've seen how this has played out in places like California, where Gavin Newsom did that with a lot of small business owners and a lot of fast food areas, other than when he was carving out his special interest donors. It didn't work out well. People were replaced with iPads. That's what's going to happen. The reality is small businesses cannot cover that kind of nut. They cannot pay someone $30 an hour to do menial work. It doesn't work that way. That's going to destroy those businesses. It's going to get rid of those jobs. They're going to be replaced with AI and technology in almost an instant, and you're going to compound the problem that New York is facing. So these are disastrous policies, Lawrence, that are going to not only crush business, but also crush the people they're intended to try to help.
Don, you were raised in this city. You know it very well. Is it too late to stop him?
Honestly, it doesn't look good, but perhaps it's exactly what we need as a country. You know, you hate to see New York, the birthplace of Wall Street, the birthplace of American capitalism, go down in flames. But perhaps that's the lesson we all have to see. If the rest of the country watches New York fail, and I believe it will under these disastrous ideas, maybe that's what we need to stop the spread of this scourge, of this disease of communism in America. I hate to see it. It's a disaster for us. We have incredible assets there. My father spent his entire life changing the skyline of New York City, employing tens of thousands of people. But as you saw and as you watched, didn't stop them from going after him, trying to sue him, trying to weaponize the government there against him, having him lose $500 million, which was later overturned once it got to reasonable people. But they've made it impossible for people to do business if you don't toe the line with their radical Democrat policies. And so, again, perhaps like addiction, maybe we have to hit rock bottom in New York City to actually come back out on top and not have a total disaster on our hands.
One Florida mayor puts it this way: if mamdani wins, there's going to be a mass exodus. This is what he had to say. Watch.
And if the polls hold as they expect in the next few weeks, we're going to see a lot more people looking to bring their businesses here and create jobs in Boca Raton. So I think 1 year out, you're going to see a substantial exodus of companies that are able to move. 2 years out, you're going to see depressed values, more unemployment, higher crime. And 4 years out, we don't know. I think at that point, they'll be ready for a new mayor.
True, Don?
100%. I mean, you saw that the last time around during the last wave around COVID with all the ridiculous restrictions. People moved to Florida thinking they were just going to get out of New York for a little while. Then they got there and they were like, wow, this is incredible. It's a great standard of living. The 15% that I'm not paying to New York City and New York State in my taxes, you can buy an incredible home and have an asset that's probably appreciated double since then, while the New York real estate market has been largely stagnant. The reality is people, especially in the upper income brackets that are actually paying the vast majority of New York City taxes, they have total mobility, Lawrence. They can move wherever they want. They're going to get sick of it. And once they experience actually getting out of New York, it's wonderful. Like I said, I was a lifelong New Yorker. I lived there for 43 years. I left. I didn't think I'd like it. I didn't know what was going to go on. I got down to Florida. I said, you couldn't pay me to go back to New York. If you told me I could never go back there again, it wouldn't make a difference in my life whatsoever. And so I believe the stat I originally saw was like 18,000 people pay like 80% of the taxes in New York City and that area. Those people can go wherever they want. The disaster is going to be for those who have a decent job and a decent wage, but don't have the ability to not have to show up to the office every day, don't have the ability to get the hell out. Those people are stuck, and they're going to be trapped holding this bag. It's a disaster for them. It's a disaster for the middle class, and it's going to destroy the city from a safety and economic standpoint.
So, Don, another topic I want you to weigh in on is what's happening with the White House. It's being renovated, free of charge. Your father is donating part of the funds, and then he's raising money as well to get it done. But people have been freaking out, specifically the media and Democrats. Why?
Because they're insane, Lawrence. They have nothing else to talk about anymore. They've lost the plot. They've stopped making any kind of sense. They've had to resort to violence because everything else they've tried to do is failing. The great irony of my father actually improving the White House, a construction guy, a guy that's known for building and building luxury, is actually improving the White House with private funding, his own and other donors. It's costing the taxpayer nothing. It's making the White House more usable. The White House is a beautiful place. It's an incredible building with incredible history, but it's actually very small, Lawrence. To be able to host bigger state dinners, to be able to do the deals around the world that are needed to create more jobs and commerce and trade deals, you need something like this. So the Democrats freaking out about it is absolutely insane. I think the greatest irony that I saw in all of this was Hillary Clinton talking about it being the people's house. Hillary Clinton, who with her husband literally had to return furniture and silverware that they stole from the White House. That was actually the property of the people. They took it with them after their term. They had to return it because people caught them stealing the furniture. She's the one that's leading the charge complaining about this thing. It's absolutely nuts. This is for the betterment of the property. It costs the American taxpayer nothing, and it's going to add value not just to my father's presidency, but to every president after him, because it's going to take some time to build. The reality is every president after him will get much more use and much more benefit from this incredible addition to the White House than anyone else. But again, these guys don't appreciate or understand irony, just like the No Kings rally we saw last week, where Democrats are out there a king probably wouldn't let the government shut down, and a king certainly wouldn't allow himself to be prosecuted and persecuted for the last decade. He certainly wouldn't allow these protests to happen under his watch. Again, they have nothing else, so they have a narrative.
Yeah,
they have a narrative that's still going to be pushed by the mainstream media, even if it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, Don, sometimes when someone gives you a gift, it's just okay to say thank you. And that's what they should be saying. We appreciate you coming on the program
They're
this
incapable.
morning. That's right. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Appreciate it,
brother.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.